Eylon, thank you so much for joining me. Let's just start with those talks in Qatar. What is Netanyahu actually hoping for in phase 2 of the ceasefire? And will there even be a phase 2 that includes a full withdrawal of Israeli forces or just an extension of phase 1?
Let's start with the fact that Hamas must release the hostages immediately and unconditionally. These negotiations are over the ransom that Israel is going to pay to get back the hostages who were abducted from their beds and are being starved and tortured. And Israel is willing to pay a price to get them out. But here's the problem with phase 2. A whole world has been clear Hamas cannot remain the government of Gaza. The Arab League has said it, the United States has said it, the European Union has said it. Hamas cannot remain in power in Gaza. But the Hamas government interprets phase 2 as a license to remain in power and continue plotting more October 7th massacres. So I think it's clear to everyone phase 2 is unlikely to happen. That's why Israel and the United States are now trying to extend phase 1. They're saying Israel and the US and the EU and the Arab League are saying Hamas can't stay. Hamas wants to stay. Let's push that off. And for now, let's get out as many hostages as we can in exchange for an extension in the ceasefire. We'll continue the pause in the fighting, and in exchange, Hamas will release the hostages it abducted illegally on October 7th and has been starving and torturing ever since.
So, Eylon, you speak there about the ceasefire, but Hamas is accusing Israel of not sticking to the original framework of the peace plan, and this is why we haven't seen the release of the hostages. What do you actually say to that?
Well, first, let's remember it's not a peace plan. This is a framework to reach a permanent ceasefire. But everyone knows there is no such thing as a permanent ceasefire with Hamas, which is a jihadi regime whose reason for existing is to wage war on Israel until there is no more Israel. Okay? Now, there is a major disagreement between how Hamas interprets phase 2 and how Israel, the United States, the European Union, and the Arab League interpret it. Israel is saying this war has to end with all the hostages home and Hamas removed from power and disarmed, right? Because otherwise Hamas is going to start another war again, and we don't want more wars. We want this to be the last Gaza war. We don't want Hamas to be in a position to declare war ever again. But Hamas is trying to hold on to the hostages as insurance to remain in power so that it can plot the next war against Israel, because that is Hamas's ideology. So Israel is saying Hamas has to release the hostages immediately. It has to release them unconditionally. And if it doesn't want a return to the fighting in the war that it started, it needs to continue releasing the hostages it has no right to be holding in the first place.
Israel's energy minister has recently cut off electricity coming into Gaza. Aid deliveries have also been blocked. What is the intention of these actions, and what are the possible outcomes?
The Hamas government of Gaza declared war on October 7th. The Hamas government of Gaza is refusing to surrender, and the Hamas government of Gaza is starving hostages it abducted from their beds over 500 days ago. And Israel is now telling the Hamas government of Gaza, you have to take responsibility. There are consequences for an act of aggression, for invading our country, for taking our citizens, and for starving them. And Hamas has to let the hostages go. I mean, it's absurd that Israel has been providing electricity to the Gaza Strip until now. This is enemy territory. Hamas took over in 2007 and started launching rockets at Israel. On October 7th, it invaded us. There is no country in history that supplies electricity to enemy territory that is at war with it, that waged war on it, and that is holding its citizens. So Israel is saying, if the Gaza Strip wants electricity, if it wants to receive supplies through Israel, great. That can happen when Gaza has a government that is committed to peace with Israel and not a permanent war against Israel. It's their choice.
What is Israel's priority right now? Is it the return of the hostages?
Israel has two priorities: to bring the hostages home and to bring Hamas down. And those are intertwined. We have to bring the hostages home. We know they are being starved and tortured and held in the most inhumane conditions in underground tunnels. But we also have to bring Hamas down, or it will do this again. Because Hamas is promising to do October 7th again and again. It's proud of it. It's proud of the acts of barbarism. It's proud of killing the Bibas children. It's proud of those atrocities. And we want to bring the hostages home. That means they have to sleep safely in their homes and not be afraid that Hamas is going to invade tomorrow and take them hostage again. So everyone in Israel agrees we have to achieve these two goals. Bring the hostages home, bring Hamas down, and then we can open a new chapter, a new opportunity for peace in the region when the Hamas regime in Gaza is part of Gaza's history and not part of its future.
Eylon Levy, former Israeli government spokesperson, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Anytime. Thank you.